few years ago, I had a terrible experience. I'll never forget following the GPS directions in my car one night on the way to a mountain town in Colorado where I was supposed to speak the following morning. It was 10 o'clock at night, and the GPS showed me that I was only 30 minutes away from where I was going. And as I followed the directions, it took me up a winding mountain road that then turned into a gravel lane and finally into a trail that was restricted to ATVs and off-road vehicles. It was trying to get me over the mountain to the town located just on the other side. Unfortunately, I had to drive my SUV back down the mountain and ask for directions. And to my utter dismay, I found out that it was a 4-hour drive around several mountains before I could finally crash, exhausted, in my hotel room at 4 o'clock in the morning. We've become totally dependent on GPS for directions and guidance when we travel. GPS is in our cars, on our phones, so that all we have to do is follow the voice and visual prompts to get where we're going. We no longer have to waste our time reading a map and writing down notes on which streets and roads to turn right or left on to arrive at our destination. But occasionally, GPS lets us down.
Remember when we used a map to help us find our way? It showed us every road to take and places we could stay. We'd take a pen, sit down, and then we'd slowly trace a route, so we would know where we should go once we were headed out. Then one of us would hold it in our hand or in our lap until the driver turned to say, "It's time to use the map." We'd check the route and then call out, "Turn left around the bend." And that's the way we'd spend our day until the journey's end. And then the GPS appeared to take us down the street, and we would find the folded map to now be obsolete. A screen would show which way to go and lead us all the way. A lady's voice would make the choice, and we would just obey.
Turn left on South Broadway.
And I remember thinking just how smart we really are to go from maps to GPS that helps direct our car, until I heard a flock of birds as I sat down for dinner. Without a map or GPS, they flew straight south for winter.
I think all of us are familiar with the sound of geese as they follow their instincts to take them south for winter. We know about the salmon in Alaska, who intuitively follow their built-in GPS upstream to their spawning grounds. We've heard stories of lost dogs who traveled hundreds of miles to find their way back home. But when it comes to finding direction for your life, there's also a GPS system built inside of you, just like there is in geese, fish, and dogs. In fact, it's more ingenious because it contains the components of purpose, fulfillment, peace, and joy for your life. You can't always trust what other people say about what you should do or shouldn't do, but you can learn to quiet the white noise of your monkey brain and listen to the still small voice that will nudge you in the right direction. Learn to listen to the whisper of your human spirit, and you will find that path that you were intended to travel.